Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Do you have question? One thing I forgot yesterday was group 3 nuggets. Is group 3 ready? Perhaps we can start with that, and then
we got there being very late, but we've prepared something. So
you did prepare something.
Yeah, we prepared something.
Okay, great.
So we can just give me a few minutes, and then we can do it. But I think that maybe next time we get to know earlier that we are presenting in the morning.
Yeah, I actually said you are presenting yesterday.
Okay. Maybe when I dropped off.
Yeah, I said you were presenting yesterday, and then I was the one who forgot to even call you, so you would have been even in more trouble yesterday if I had called.
Yeah, okay. So just a few seconds and I share my screen.
No problem, take your time.
So the way we understood the nugget to mean was that we are presenting, so we were giving a case or a paper to read, and the paper is called Master Science Could Rescue the Replication Crisis. So it was more of a thought paper. And we understood, so I'm going to share my screen now. Can you please see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So we understood the nuggets to mean key pieces or key things to learn about them in the paper. So we came up with 6 nuggets that we can apply to our everyday life and in our science, in our life of science. So you can see the different apples, so the different nuggets to learn, the key messages to learn. So like I said, the paper in review is the meta science could rescue the replication crisis. So nugget 1 is having a clearer sense of the process helps improve reliability of new finding. And you see the background. The background is like there is we are trying to put together something. We're trying to replicate science. We are trying to do our researches. But if we understand how the research is done, if we understand the process that goes through reliability and reproducibility, then we can incorporate it into our work. So it becomes part of our lives. It becomes part of our everyday lives, including our science lab. So for me, what we are doing here is not just about science. Whatever you do in life, should somebody come after you, can the person do the same thing you are doing using the same processes that you went through? And that will only happen if you have a clearer sense of the process. So that is our nugget 1. Nugget 2. Sorry, this should have been meta science. Sorry for the
typo.
So I will change it before I share. So meta science was explained basically as redoing or reanalyzing the science that has been done. Okay, so that's the papers, and reanalyzing the papers, going back to do everything and looking at it. It looks like that is the master key. So that is what science in general. And the way the paper looked at it was like the meta science, reproducibility, everything started with psychology. Okay, so everything, all these started with psychology, but it has gone into various science. So all the other sciences are learning to incorporate reproducibility in their work. And as we are doing, like I said before, as we are doing, we should know that meta science may become or is the master key for our reproducibility crisis. Nugget 2, scrutiny should boost our confidence, not dunt it. So this should be nugget 3. So it should boost our confidence, not dunt it. There is always something to learn. So in the paper, the author said something about, so he used himself as an example. There was something that he wrote, there was something that he did, that people went back to it and tried to reproduce it. Initially, they didn't get the same results. So it was almost like he was under the microscope. But that was because there was a change in the protocol that was used from before and the one that the reproduced one. So when they changed that protocol, or when they changed that wording, they realized they were getting the same result. Sometimes we come under scrutiny. Sometimes we write papers and we get responses that may not, we may feel that people are out to get us, and it may end up bringing down our confidence. But this is what we are here to say, that it shouldn't bring down our confidence. It should rather boost it. For me, I keep saying, if I give a paper to somebody, if I write something and I give it to somebody and the person doesn't give me a comment, I don't like it. I rather like it when I get lots of comments. What that tells me is that the person has taken his time to read it. So I hope that we also take that kind of attitude. Let us take scrutiny as a kind of a way to learn, so that we will be able to make ourselves better, boost our confidence, and be better at what we are doing. Because in the end, being better, or adding better things to science, is what we are looking for, and not just in the end having been an ASO prof or being a full prof, and when somebody reads your paper, it's like, oh, this person doesn't even know how to write. So it should boost our confidence, not dunt it.
Okay, sorry, Tabitha. I have just put a message on the chat, and the message is that if you have not filled the form, the questionnaire, please do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have not filled the questionnaire, do so before 9:30, so that we can proceed with the project. Yeah, Tabitha, you continue. If you can finish in 3 minutes, that would be great. So
okay, 3 minutes. We'll finish very soon. So nugget 3 is examination of previous work provides experience. So I think this follows the nuggets, the previous nuggets. Victories come in different forms. Find them. So that is our last, maybe but one nugget. Victories come in different forms. When you do something, and even the little achievements, please celebrate the achievements. They come in different form. When you celebrate your achievements, you can have enough confidence to look for the little challenges to also make them better. Thank you very much for listening to our nuggets.
thank you very much, Tabitha, and Group 3 for this fantastic analysis. Perhaps if I had read this paper, I wouldn't have had so much of these nuggets, and they are really good, and quite inspiring. With regards to the last one you have there, in Sweden here, there is a Swedish tradition called fika, Fika, and that is kind of community tea time or coffee time. So people work at certain time. They go to the kitchen and take tea. Those who take tea, those who take coffee, and they sit down for maybe half an hour and they discuss. Sometimes in some places they do that up to 3 or 4 times in a day. And so when you do something, if you publish paper, people sometimes also serve fika. Instead of just tea, they add cake or cookies, invite their colleagues to the coffee room, and they will celebrate paper accepted in a journal. So when I came here, I was wondering, and I was asking them, I mean, if people do this, they publish paper and they serve, what of the professors who publish maybe close to 100 papers a year? What happens? We keep serving coffee for. They say no,
Well,
no. The professors are exempted because, yeah. But this point you're making, celebrate your victories, is very important. But as well, in science, you could also see that in addition to the victories, if you measure them in terms of percentage, you also find that the failures, yeah, and the weekly nugget I put there, I also highlighted the aspect of dealing with failure. How do you deal with failure? How do you deal with success? Because they are realities we face as scientists. Failures are realities and they are welcomed. Failures are welcomed because from that you can learn the next steps you take. Many of us try to avoid failures by any, it's a kind of taboo on our way, but failures are part of the process.
Yeah.
One, as human beings, to learn, to grow, and then two, as scientists, is part of that. And then when we learn how to manage failure, we appreciate success so much.
Yeah.
When it comes. So thank you very much. I don't know if I see comment coming saying thanks for the presentation. I don't know if anybody has something to say to what group 3 has presented.
Okay, so thank you all for the feedback. We are happy that you liked our presentation, and like I said, I'm going to make the few grammatical mistakes and then I will share them in the group 3 folder or maybe the main folder so that you can all have access.
Thank you. And so group 4, so that it's not a surprise for you, you will give us your own nugget just after the lunch break, group 4. So get ready for that.
So I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone who has not been able to fill the form, the questionnaire?
I'm currently filling it, Prof. I'm on it, but I'm not done.
You're not done.
Yes, sir.
Akko, you need to do that fast.
Okay, all right, sir.
Okay. So let's give Akko a few minutes, and then we can download it. And so what I thought you'll be doing this morning is that data will be collected and every group will have it, and we'll take it to the next level. And the next level is that you should develop a protocol for your data analysis, because you need to do data analysis now. And that protocol will be define your question, you define the variables you'll be using, you define how you're going to code the variables or categorize the variables, you define how you are going to do the analysis to answer your questions. So just a mini protocol like you did for the project, but this will focus on the statistical analysis. Once you have done that, you continue to undertake the analysis and then give the results, of course, give interpretation to the results, and then prepare a short, I think I said that 10 minutes presentation of what you find. Don't forget that we're answering a question. We have asked a question on this project. And so you need to provide a conclusion. You need to provide answers to that question. But overall, the part that is very important we'll be evaluating is how you integrated reproducibility into that project. So for your group, you need to indicate from the design of the study, the first protocol you made, and then this analysis part. How did you integrate? How did you consider reproducibility? And once you have given that, finally will be what was the experience from this project? Did you learn something new? Did it help you to get idea of the content of this course? Like I said, the first day, this is the first time I'm trying this approach. So give us your presentation and then highlight those. Is it challenging? Is there something that you think we need to change or modify in going forward? So that will be highly appreciated. So once now we get this, I'm going to distribute you, send you back to your group. And all this you're going to do now, we will do it. We will do it after some time. I'm going to bring you back and then we see how it is going for all the groups. Let's all discuss and then I will send you back again. And we do this until the break, the lunch break. You need to use that time to finalize your everything, so you have sufficient time to do that. And after the lunch break, we are then going to come back to the whole group, and what we are going to do is the presentation after the lunch break. And I tell you, I have prepared today and really ready to see the fantastic work you have done. So far, so good, and I'm really impressed with what you have done. But until it is finally done and I hear what you have provided as your answer, I still keep my my excitement within me. So I don't know if everything I've said is clear. If somebody has question for clarification. So if you have not filled the questionnaire, please complete it now. Ako, are you ready?
Prof, I just submitted now.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Felix, can you?
I have
27, eh?
yes, I have 27 responses. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we can download.
All right.
I'm doing it here also, but you can do it. Let's see.
Yeah, I made you a collaborator.
Yeah, I'm also doing it here.
Okay, great.
Anyone saying anything? Everyone is quiet. Felix, it looks like there is a problem. Eh? Don't know
Okay.
if you're getting the same thing.
Okay, you mean from the
Have you been able
response?
to see the file? Eh?
If I've been able to do what, bro?
Have you been able to download the file?
I'm doing that now. Okay, yes. Yes, I have the file. I have the Excel sheet. Yes.
Yeah, mine is not opening. It's complaining.
Okay, all right. I can drop what I have on the. So it's 28 we have now.
28.
As
Okay.
as of now, yes, 28
Yeah, I can see that.
responses. Yes. So
If you drop it on the chat, I will take it from there.
okay, all right, great. Let me do that now.
Oh, Lee, sorry. Lee, sorry. I think I forgot to include you, Lee. I think we can just wait a minute. Let Lee fill this.
Okay. All right.
Lee, I will send the link. Sorry, I was telling Lee. Lee is a colleague of mine, very very good colleague of mine, and she's from originally from Malaysia, and she's Malaysian and British. So she asked to attend this course, and I was telling her now I have converted her to an African. So initially she wasn't on the email list. Adopted.
Oh,
She prefers to use adopted. Adopted African. So she wasn't in the email list. That's why I missed her. But now I put it on the chat. So Lee, you can take from there and please
okay. We'll
complete
just
it.
hold.
Mm. Lee, when you complete, you just let us know, then we can take it again. Then while we wait for Lee, if you have not registered to the Frontiers seminar series, please do so. It starts on Sunday. And please, okay, Lee has done that. I'm sending the link now to the Frontiers seminar series. It starts on Sunday, and please share and invite colleagues across board so that we can get the conversation going. Yeah, so Felix, do you want to try again? Lee has done that now. Felix, you're muted.
All right, yes, I'm doing that right away.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, Lee.
You know, the profession, there is one lecturer and researcher. You cannot put both. Is either or. Is maybe there is a bit that could be changed a bit. Some people may be a researcher as well as a lecturer, or some people can be a researcher and clinician.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you in going forward, you will now try to forgive yourselves.
Okay, Dr. Wright, I think I may have to send it to your email. I don't know why I'm having issues attaching it on the.
Okay, send it to my email. I will take it, of course.
Yes, do that right away, yeah. Okay, I just did.
Okay. Just a minute, I'll come back to you soon. Just to get this. Okay, I have this now. Just to ask, is there anyone that, any group that uses SAS? Otherwise, I've put this into Excel, SPSS, and Stata. But if any group uses SAS, then I could put it. Okay, then I will now put it on. I'll put the files on the chat. Something is happening. I can't. Yeah, I can't attach files there. I'm not sure.
If the file is open, it couldn't be attached.
Hmm?
If the file is open, it couldn't be attached. Close the file and try to reattach
Or
it.
if it's open, I can't. Eh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I found this yesterday.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks for that tip, Eman.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I faced so much problem with that this morning. I didn't know this was a problem. So I've sent the Excel. I sent the Stata, and the SPSS. So you have the raw data there, and you need to now work on trying to sort this out. It's some people are very good in Excel. If that is sufficient for you to address your question, go ahead. If you need to use SPSS, if you need to use, the only thing you cannot use is to count. Don't count, because with your finger or with stones or sticks, because that will introduce human errors. So let's use the data, the programs to analyze. Is there any question? Anything you want clarification with?
Hello, Doc.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Please, this is Claire.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Doc, you say you have sent the attachments. Please, where have you sent them? I can't see them in the chat box.
You can't see. Can other people see that? Is there anyone who cannot see that?
No, no, I cannot see.
Box.
You cannot see. Wow.
Well, I can see it.
Please
Yes.
send us
I cannot see it. I can only see the form.
Sam.
Okay, maybe
it's on the way. Let's wait.
There. Yeah.
I've seen Excel.
You've seen Excel. So let me then.
Yeah, I've not seen anything.
I will send it to the email. I will send it to the email.
Is it the Google the form the questionnaire we are filling?
Yeah, the data itself. We have collected the data
questionnaire.
now.
I've seen the questionnaire since yesterday in my email, and I feel is that
No. The data we have taken now from the questionnaire. We have taken the data out.
Okay.
So you should have it.
Sent it to the...
You should have it in your email now.
Okay. Okay. So we should go and check out the data, right?
Yeah, take out the data in your email. I've sent it now. I guess.
Okay.
I guess you should have it. If you can just confirm.
Yes, Doc, I can see it in the email.
You can see it. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Is there any question for today or for tomorrow group work? So I'm sending you now to your group. You can continue from there. I'm trying to remember everybody's group. If I don't, I will ask you. Clotilde is group 1. Delphina is group 4. Edward is group 2. Tabitha is group 3. Eman is 8. Felix is 7. Akko is 8. Benga Saulu. Oh. Benga, what group are you, please?
Group 8.
Group 8, okay. And Godfrey, you are in group 7. I'm not sure.
Group 2.
Godfrey, you're in group 2.
Yeah.
No, group 7 actually. That's what I have here. This is not the group yesterday. This is the original group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your Godfrey is in group 2.
He has been working with group 2.
I've been working with group 2.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Right from the inception of this
So you
training.
liked the group 2. You would have told me I shouldn't send it to group 7.
I saw my name in the list there, group 2.
Really?
Yeah. The one you said on the Excel file, yeah.
Okay, I will send you out to group 2 then. Johnstone is what group is Johnstone?
Group 3.
Group 3.
3.
Kellen, Kiam
Group 4. Group 4.
Lamech, Agassa.
Group 5.
Group 5. Nelson, you are in group 2.
Okay, group 2. I'm in group 2.
Yeah, I sent it to group. And Marion is in group 7.
7.
Olayinka, you are in group 4. Lee is group 1. Theo, you are in group Theo is in group Theo, where did I finally send you? Theo.
Theo was sent to group 2.
Yes.
Group 2.
Group
Yes.
2. Group 2, yes.
There's somebody who has is called in Phoenix. I'm not sure who that is. You said
Zalalam. This is Zalalam.
who?
Zalalam.
Okay, and that is group 8 or group 7?
7.
Okay. Yeah. Is Benga here now? Victor is group 2.
SPS for us. So open that package.
Okay. Duncan, you are group 4.
Thank you.
And Benga. Is Benga here? Benga, what group are you?
Hello, sir.
Group 5. What group are you, Benga? Benga, what group are you? Benga, what group have you been working with? I can't hear you. Who is Zola? Who is Zola?
It's like Benga have a communication issue. So he sent a chat.
Group 8, eh? Benga is group 8. I don't know. Nelson, you can't join your group or you have not received anything. Nelson, have
I'm
you?
surprised.
You have not received anything.
Yes.
I've sent
Group
you there
2.
about group. I've sent you there, but let me move you to.
No, group 2.
Yeah. So see if it comes now. I sent it already. I don't know why it's not appearing. Okay, great. Who is Zola here? Okay, you're all back. And we are ready now. And the group number 4 will give us the nuggets where we prepare to start the presentation. So group 4, can you give us in 5 minutes?
Yes, Professor, I'm trying to connect on the laptop with another account. If Professor could accept.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I will share. I'll share the presentation. I don't know if you can see.
We can see.
We can see, Delphina.
Okay, thank you. I'm Delphina, and I'll be presenting on behalf of Group 4. We received a manuscript entitled No Reproducibility Without Reproducibility by Philip Shark, a professor of statistics at University of California, Berkeley. The main message is science should be show me and not trust me, meaning that communicating a scientific result requires enumerating, recording, and reporting things that cannot be omitted. The descriptions of the work have to be sufficient in a way that the one who reads will be able to repeat the experiments. And most manuscripts now analysis that are crucial to understanding the result and its limitations, as well as to repeat the work. And the professor proposes an intuitive, unambiguous neologism named reproducibility. An experiment or analysis is reproducible if it has been described in an adequate detail for others to undertake it. Reproducibility is a prerequisite for reproducibility, and we can compare a reproducible scientific report with a recipe, such as baking a loaf of bread. It isn't enough to know that it contains flour, salt, water, and yeast. We cannot omit the ratio of ingredients, the operations, their timing, and the temperature of the oven. And in scientific research, reproducibility may require information about materials, including organisms and their care, instruments and procedures, experimental design, raw data at the instrument level, algorithms used to process the raw data, computational tools used in the analysis, process data, and analysis that were tried and abandoned. And in peer review, referees and editors cannot provide serious quality control unless they're given enough information. So science should be show me, not trust me. And we cannot publish a paper that is long on results and short on methods. We have to be honest about how methods we have used to conduct the work. Thank you very much for your attention.
That's really good, Defina. I feel like giving you a round of applause. That's really nice. And the recipe thing, it's really good to use such kind of example to describe this. And I hope everybody is happy with the thoughts Group 4 has shared. Okay, let's kickstart now. So because the time is flying and we need time to walk through this, if you can make it in 8 minutes for each group, that is fine, but 10 minutes is maximum so that we can go to the next group. Please, otherwise we stay here until who knows. Okay, Group 1, you ready?
Yes, we couldn't finish, but we will share what we have now.
Yeah, please do.
For now. Okay, thank you. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, so this was the title, Evaluation of Awareness, Perception, and Current Practices of Reproducibility in Research Among African Scholars. Briefly, we went about articles about reproducibility, and we found this, that it's is to obtain consistent results using the same data and code as the original study. So it's more of concept definition, requires ongoing beyond openness and enable practice of scientific reuse. Also, we found that there were some inconsistencies about the concept and some authors were working on trying to solve this problem. So this concept of reproducibility research it has been raising concerns among the community of scientists, now extensively used in larger number of research domains, because we can see now that it's important for transparency, and it can also promote best practices by avoiding fraud and other kind of malpractice in scientific world. But about African researchers, we didn't find information regarding this aspect. So the key question was this one: what was the current level of awareness, perception, and the practices among this group? The aim was to investigate if that was something that was important in African scholars. Those are the objectives. I'm not going to go about all of them in the interest of time, but it's breaking down the aim to understand what's the level of awareness, perception, and current practices. So the research design and methods were these. We did a survey, cross-sectional. We used the email as a tool to provide it, and it was designed in the Google form. And then we performed data analysis and management using Excel. So the results are these. About age participants, what we had was that the larger group was among this age category of 30 to 40. In terms of gender, it was slightly more male than female, but it's almost similar. We didn't see if there was relevance in terms of statistical.
So you mean more females than males? Sorry.
No, more male than female.
No.
A bit
More females than males.
More females than males, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, sorry. That's right. And then highest level of education, we see that it's mostly master. In terms of occupation, mostly lecturer, but and then there are some, the list of them are health advisor and multiple responses that we couldn't break down now. In terms of setting of occupation, most of them are in the academic field. And in terms of years of experience, we saw that we have 35% of them less than 6 years of experience. So this is the majority of the group, but there's no much difference. The group with between 6 to 10, it's 34%. So less than 10 years, we could say it's the majority, which I think it's in agreement with the age of participants. Prior knowledge of reproducibility to assess awareness, we can see that the majority said that they had already heard about the term. In terms of synonyms, we can see that there was a lot of no responses, which it's a problem. If they've heard about the term, it means probably they didn't understand the term, just that they have heard about it. And then source of knowledge, university. They're mostly academics, so I think it makes sense. And then knowledge about research protocols, just 10%, which said no. So the majority knows about research protocols because I think they work a lot with that, with regards to the previous information that we collected in the demographics. Also knowledge about platforms to register protocols. The majority said that they have this knowledge. Factors informing reproducibility. This is not that, okay. The majority said that they chose all the possibilities, so availability of data, not expensive, and checking validity for data. Publishing research data as a good scientific practice. The majority strongly agrees that that is an important thing to do. Opinion about open peer review. Also, the majority think it's the best approach. Attempts to reproducing. So this is in accordance to the fact that most of them, although they have heard about the concept, they are not working on that. So we can say that there's a very low level of reproducible research among African researchers. This discussion is a bit broad. We wanted to say that we experienced the sharing of analytical data sets between the groups in its original raw form when we did those exercises of finishing the questionnaire, and then we used the data, the same data, all the groups. So in this course, we learned that. So it was interesting because we applied the concept of reproducibility. The method used to conduct this assignment stimulated us to apply the idea, as I was saying now, of sharing enough details about study methods, tools, and everything else that could be, and we can prove by comparing the results of each group that this is a concept that could be applied in research. Hopefully the other colleagues will have repeated the same results. Also, we found in literature that most African researchers are facing difficulties in publishing their findings due to lack of quality and integrity of the research. And we think that sharing research protocols, as Professor Bright was teaching us, previous to implement the research, could increase transparency, quality, integrity, and can contribute to more research, reproducibility in research. So that's all for us. I don't know if some of the group members want to add or comment on the presentation, if we still have time.
Okay, thanks very much, Group 1, for the presentation. Does anyone from the other groups have questions or comments to make with regards to Group 1's presentation?
Can we look at slide 17? Yeah, what is this? The last one? Yeah. Couldn't make out, isn't it?
Sorry?
The graph on the right hand side. We couldn't make out what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first question, if nobody's asking, let me ask. The first question I want to ask, which I will ask to every group, is did you find this project meaningful with regards to the content of the course? And I'm asking Group 1.
Yes, we found it very helpful, as we were saying in our discussion, because we could see the value of using reproducibility in research when we shared the same data that was generated by us, and then we could work on this data. Of course, I have yet the opportunity to compare the results to see if they're similar, but I think they are going to be. So I think it was a very good exercise.
Yeah, the other thing, for the sake of time, maybe this will be my last point, just to comment that as we have gone through the course, the idea is aspect of transparency, and also ensuring that once you have done what you have done, somebody can take your protocol or whatever you have, your recipe, to repeat and get what you have done. But that aspect, I didn't see you Group 1 describing that, because if I want to repeat this, I don't know how to do that. I don't have your codes. I don't have your syntaxes or how you have performed that. So that is one thing I think for all groups to note, that aspect needs to, even if you're not providing it, it needs to be described quite clear how you have. I know you have used Excel to analyze your data, but let's say you're using some other programs that can generate syntax or codes you have used. You need to do that, and when you're making the presentation, you can show us that what you have done, how was age collected, how did you transform it, and so on and so forth across your variables. Okay, so you should know that.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Group 2.
I'm going to share the slides immediately. want to listen to group 2 presentation, and Edward, John, Nelson, and Godfrey are part of the team. The title is Awareness, Perception, and Current Practices of Reproducibility among 2021 Reproducibility class. And so we had hypotheses, which are not different from group 1. And for us, it was like there's a high level of awareness of reproducibility in research among participants. There's also a high level of perception and current practices of reproducibility among participants. So the study objectives will follow a hypothesis. Which one of them is to determine the level of awareness, to determine the perception, and also the current practices. The study design, of course, is cross-sectional because the data was collected at one point in time. And then study participants are all those that underwent the 5-day course of reproducibility in scientific research training. Inclusion and exclusion criteria. Those who did not come to the training could not access. Data collection was done online, and data analysis has followed. Demographics, we see that most of the females, we had a little bit of an increase, about an average 41.7% of the participants who are females. And most of the participants had attained a master's degree, which accounts 58.6%. Also realize that that according to occupation, most of the participants are lecturers, at least one, almost a third. A third is a proportion for PhD students, but also most of them are lecturers. And then you find that they almost work in academics, 65.5%. So for their experience, most of them are within about 10 years of experience and below, but you find that a third, almost 1 out of every 4 participants has more than 50 years of experience. And this is what I was trying to explain right now, and I don't think that I need to go back. So on awareness of reproducibility by demographics, this is how we decided to analyze our data. We used actual SPSS, and this is what would come out of the SPSS. This is how the tables look like. So we found out that the mean age is 38 years with a standard deviation of 7.3 years. The majority of respondents have heard about reproducibility, and they have attained masters. Up to 60% of the masters attainment participants have heard about reproducibility, but only 6.7% among the postdoctorate have heard about reproducibility. Most of the lecturers have actually heard about reproducibility, but of course, because the p-value is not less than 0.05, it's not quite significant. So the years of experience did not have any relationship with the knowledge according to our findings, due to the fact that the chi-square and the p-values point out to that. Out of those who have heard about reproducibility, 20.7% of them have heard it from the university. This is they have heard it from the university. So about the research protocol, about the research protocol, you will realize that those who have an idea according to gender, it's only 20% of the females that do not have an idea. but the rest of the females have an idea. In fact, all the males had an idea about the research protocol. And so this is what explains that, but it was also not very significant. And that's about the publication of the protocol. You realize that 83% of the participants have ever registered or published a research protocol for their studies, which is actually so. For those that have not registered, there were reasons as to why they had not registered, and one of the main reasons, which is actually pointing out to 50%, is no knowledge of such. So most of the people that have not registered didn't know about it. So motivation for publishing a protocol. Most of the responses, actually there was no response up to 77%. But what is very important to note is that 13% of the respondents said that it is motivating. Transparency motivates someone to register or publish a research protocol. And so the frequencies, this is just indicating the frequency of participants responding to publishing data. So we are looking at factors preventing respondents from publishing research data, and we find that also in this, there was non-response, which took much of the frequencies. But also you realize that most of the people do not know that they could. So lack of knowledge actually comes back to play a very big role in publishing data. So challenges that we had for this group, actually, we had limited time for analysis. We had to first go through the questionnaire, and we realized that it was not coded, and some, especially the perception questions, which are light at scale, needed some coding. I think almost all the questions, the questionnaire needed coding so that you could, at the beginning, go through it. But then it was a little bit not easy for us to go through it quite frequently because of that. And that would be a limitation for using someone's data, someone's questionnaire, because sometimes questionnaires are developed differently, and analyzing becomes a little bit hard, which is something that I think we are pointing out. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Group 2. Does anyone have questions or points of discussions for Group 2?
Okay, I would like to mention that Group 2 has 4 members, and so the questions can be answered by some of them: John, Ajimang, and the rest.
Yeah, any question to Group 2? Okay, so the first question I asked was how useful was this exercise in helping you, the members of Group 2, to relate it with the content of the course?
As I said, reproducibility is, you say transparency is one of the things that enhances reproducibility, and as well as ending the discussion, I said that it's very important to look at the tools that have been used to collect data, which is actually very valid and relevant for this specific exercise, because we found out that that tools had limitations, and actually when we have to manipulate it, then we may get results that are different from the author's results. So it's quite important. We see it very useful here.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
think I can add that one of the key learnings is that there is a strong openness where not only one idea dominates, so you have to create a consensus around issues. So trying to populate or bring some ideas on your own and you just infuse it and go cannot fly. So it is a very open process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's quite important. Consensus of the group, the investigators. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add about that collaboration. We learned how to collaborate, and as you said, consensus, accept one another's opinion in a diplomatic way. So we practice that aspect of reproducibility in our group, a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we even worked even beyond, during we had no break. We sacrificed other things just to make sure we had something together.
Yeah, congratulations for that.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
But your lunch is also important.
That's true. We only realized that we are not at lunch.
Anyway, yeah, strong people. Okay. One other thing
Another aspect we had was that we thought it was important to explain our challenges, our limitations. So we should not just focus on the positive output we had, but we thought we should also explain, as Etio explained, the challenges we had.
Yeah.
So we were transparent in that also.
Yeah. I think it's very important. If you write the recipe, if you write the recipe, yeah. Someone wants to add something there.
Yes, this is now saying, I also want to add to what John said, that from these studies we've carried out, these analyses, I've come to realize that one of the implications is that the solution to it should come from those who fall victim of irreproducibility of research work. What I mean that if you want solution, they should be the one to even offer the solution, because most of them are ignorant. So because of the ignorance, tendency of irreproducibility most time. So it's not that some of them are doing it intentionally. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. Just to highlight, as I did for group 1, I was also expecting some details with regards to your codes, how you did the data editing, because we gave you the raw data, how you manipulated it, how you your syntaxes with regards to your analysis. Those are very important aspects that we are interested in. Of course, it was good that you mentioned your challenges so that people will know what it requires if they want to reproduce what you have done. But without those other details, like the codes, like the processes you use to derive your results, and so on and so forth, then it will be challenging. So the detailed codes and syntaxes are quite important. Okay. All right. Let's go to group 3. Group 3. Who is representing group 3? Is group 3 here?
Yeah, Prof.
I'm sorry to say that we are not ready. A lot of us had some technical issues with our system, so we are still grappling with that.
We can't
I'm still trying to get all of them.
we can't reproduce that here now. Yeah.
Our data is still raw. We've not yet put it in a presentation format.
So are you working on that now?
Yes, we are working on it.
Okay, so we'll go to group 4 and then we'll come back to group 3 to see where you are.
Okay, Prof.
Group 4, you're ready?
Wow. Let me see what I can make out. Actually, let me present. Let me present my. Am I permitted to share?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, sorry. I didn't know that I will be using PowerPoint to present all this. So I'm to use R to analyze the data. So which I did, or I'm just trying to rush to do that since I saw people presenting data and using R to presume my data stuff would have been very good. So like we can see, R was used for the analysis, or was being used. So to read in our data, we use library read XL. Then the codes are there. Now, the data was downloaded from the email, then it was read in as survey data. Then it was, it was transformed into a data frame. From there, I can see that we have 29 persons who responded to 25 questions. However, some of the questions were not well constructed for people to answer well, and it gave room for not available or not applicable data, which in R we call NA. And in total, we have about 110 cells that were not filled or not applicable. Yeah, I was trying to, like I said, I was still working on the thing to present here. So that's why you have all these. I was still working on it, but let me share the other dates, the other platform. Now from here, this is my R console. Sorry, my system is slow. I've done some of the thing here, but I was trying to take it to the slideshow in R.
Yeah, so you can do that because your time is flying out.
Yes, I can see. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me change what I'm sharing then.
Yeah, you still have about 5 minutes. So
okay. What is it? Let me just see what I can do. Let me just share this. one of the things that made me last time was that I was using ANOVA, t-test, and all the thing to analyze the data. But to do that, I need some packages which were not in my system. So downloading that took, all the time before I could download and install. So please, now, I don't know. Can you see my screen?
We can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, now this is one of the this thing. When I will try to see, it's not in sequence because I was rushing. I've not really taken time, except I have more time. When we look at the people who have support for open review, we cover that we have more females who strongly agree for data for open review than we have in male. The same thing, we have male, but we have more male who just agree than female who agree. Why we don't have, why we don't have any, can you hear me please?
We can hear you, go
Hello?
on. We can hear you, go on.
Okay, okay. So why we have more male who agree than more female who agree. Then, but in terms of disagree and neutral, we have, okay, more female are neutral, but none of the female disagree. Why we have some male disagreeing and some also neutral. Then in terms of reproducibility, please, the data on my power went off. So what is supplying data for my
Seems Olayinka is off. Network problems, I think.
Because before the program started, I faceted it with respect to educational level and also with respect to gender. Now, among the doctorates, we have equal people agreeing in both male and female, but we have more of doctorate male agreeing than more of doctorate female. Now, coming to those at the master's level, in the study, we have more of master's, those who have masters are more than those who have other qualification. Now, so let me join. I wish to share my distance with you. Okay. So
you have 1 minute now, Olayinka.
Okay, then for the doctorates, those who said no are more in the female than those who said no for the male. So in terms of the educational respondents in the program, which like I've said initially, we have masters are more. But in this class, we have no single postdoctorate male, yet we have some postdoctorate female. So I think this is where time permits me and I can stop. I wish I had not taken time on ANOVA and T analysis. I would have majored on the visualization. So please bear with me. So my codes are there for me to that so that somebody, you can download my data set and download my code, run your analysis and get the same thing as far as you know how to use R. Thank you very much. Normally I can submit this to GitHub. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much, group 4. Does anyone have question or comments? Okay. One thing I have to say, thank you, Olayinka. Yeah, you have gone through and provided the analysis codes and the data, which is fantastic. But one thing is, usually when you do, you have to also consider the audience. And the audience here, for instance, who are the research made for, who we consume it, who we find it useful. And so once you consider that, then you can also use that to determine which software do you use to make the analysis, because R is more commonly used by those who can code, but many people in the clinical area or social sciences use the less difficult ones that are spreadsheets like SPSS or Excel or
Excel.
yeah. So once you're doing this, you can take that into account so that you know which program finally will you use to. You can do your analysis in R or something like that, and then you think of, do I export it to any of these more commonly used ones for your audience? You
Yeah, thank
understand?
you
So
very
so
much.
that gap in communication needs to be
Addressed.
yes, addressed, so that eventually people don't go to the site you have put it and they're scared away. Say, no, I don't understand anything here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, I see that you were still in the process to conclude your analysis before you were called back.
Yeah.
Okay, but thank you for the presentation. And as I asked the other groups, for your group, how did this work help your appreciation of this course entirety?
Yes, it's great. Made me see people's perception about various aspects of science, and with respect to reproducibility, see how people have adopted, the awareness level, and how people want it to go to the next level. And also, I mean, many of us, yes, actually, the program generally myself is an eye-opener, because I'm surprised. I never knew there are some frauds in science until this program. So it's quite surprising. And again, it has also enforced in us the need to be detailed, more detailed than we have been in terms of our research documentation, our methodology, in fact, in terms of documentation when it comes to research and reporting, it has ingrained into us the need to be more detailed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. For the sake of time, we'll move on. There's a request for each group. Please send me your presentation. Then I will upload them on the Dropbox folder so that other groups can have access to that. Please. Okay. Group 3, are you ready now to present? Group 7, are you ready? Group 7?
Yes, group 7, yeah.
Okay, please do.
Okay. Right. So, for good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Felix. I will be presenting on behalf of Group 7. So the other persons in our group is Zella Lem, Ruby, Marion, myself, and Tekla. We're looking at awareness, perception, and current practices of reproducibility in research among African scholars. As a form of introduction, it is widely accepted that the goal of research or science is to solve a society problem. So This always requires excellence and standard, and reproducibility has come to help us as researchers and also as scientists to maintain some level of standard so that whatever research we do, whatever codes we claim we had, or whatever method we said we used could be reproducible by researchers in our institution or researchers outside our institution. So the hype or the publish or perish syndrome would be minimized, if researchers begin to see that whatever they have done would be passed through a form of reliability or validity test. So that will ensure that quality work is done, across all boards. And this concept it's beginning to gain awareness. The United Nations, the UNESCO arm, and other bodies are working hard every day to see that these processes are being implemented in many institutions across the world. So Africa is beginning to see that right now. So for the purpose of this study, we looked at 3 key objectives to determine the awareness of reproducibility in research among African scholars, their perception, and also the current practices that is observed. So we review a lot, some literatures that define reproducibility as a principle of scientific research and the ability to replicate a finding of a study that is done, using similar method or material or data. And it helps to also enhance the element of research and make it robust. Similar terms from review of literatures we've seen are repeatability, replicability, and also reproducibility. So for the study design, it's a cross-sectional study design because we observed the opinions of respondents, participants, or researchers in this case across board regarding certain concept or certain variables that we had in mind. And we did this borrowing concept from Setia, and also the approaches have also been validated by Zangirolam et al. 2018. Our study setting was among African researchers participating in an online course. So our sample were recruited from that cohort. We used a structured questionnaire designed in the Google form, and the questionnaire was administered online using a link. We extracted our data from the Google form, imported it into Microsoft Excel, took it to SPSS for data analysis. The analysis that were run, we followed all statistical method for analyzing cross-sectional studies, mainly outputting frequency and percentages by Duquesne et al. 2014. We also followed principles to test normality of our data provided by Chen Li and also Frank et al. To ensure that if our data is normally distributed, then we will be using the parametric analysis. If it's not, then we'll be using the non-parametric. So from the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, which is the normality test, and normally done in SPSS, we observed that our P was greater than 0.05, meaning our data does not significantly deviate from the normal. So we can use parametric tests for our data analysis. So this is the syntax for the analysis, and the one down is for the normality test. So from our social demographic, we saw that we had more respondents from those that are between the ages 30 to 39, females, those that have master's degree, and also those that are researchers in terms of main occupation. We also observe the academic setting majority were those in the academics, and also the main fields among the researchers we interviewed were in the medicine and health sector, followed by the social sciences. These were the years of experience in the scientific research. Majority were between 0 and 5 years. The awareness was slightly above half, 55% among the researchers interviewed, and also majority that have heard of reproducibility had it in the university environment. Most synonyms were repeatability, 40%, and also most have had an idea of research protocol and also know where to register their research protocols, 90% and 62%. Perception about reproducibility was very good because most strongly agreed regarding three concepts. One, publishing their study data. Two, if the study should be subjected to open peer review, and three, if journal reviewers should request for study data. These three concepts about the perception was very positive amongst the researchers that were interviewed. When we measure the current practices of reproducibility, we saw that current practice is very poor among the researchers, poorer in two of the concepts, if they've ever tried to reproduce their results and if they've ever registered or published their result, their research protocol. 21% is, but when asked if they have ever published their data in any of their studies, it increased it slightly to 48%, which is still not very good. When asked the reasons for not trying to reproduce their result, most said because they don't know that this option is possible or available. When asked if they like the process when they publish their data, most were satisfied and the other very satisfied. For those that did not publish their data, when asked the factors preventing them from publishing their data, most said that they did not know that they could publish their data, followed by those that said they had no skills, and also those that said they don't want their data to be shared. And the motivation for registering their research protocol, majority said that it's because they want their work, their protocol to be transparent, followed by those that said it's due to institutional policy, 29%. So finally, when asked the reasons for not registering their research protocol, majority of them said that they did not know that such opportunity exists, So for our discussion, the key findings from this work is that researchers are aware of reproducibility, although it's fair amongst the respondents that were interviewed. Most have an idea where to publish their protocol or to register their protocol. There was good perception of reproducibility concept in the research process, especially in areas pertaining publishing their data, the open review process, and also if journal reviewers should request for data. Current practice of reproducibility was generally poor. When we looked at if they've ever tried to produce their results, or if they've ever published their data, or if they've ever tried to register or publish their research protocol. And the major reason that was given across board was that they are not aware. So a lot of them are not aware, which gives a good opportunity for increasing training, capacity building, whatever forms, because from the response or from the reasons, it shows that more capacity building will actually encourage more researchers to implement the reproducibility concept. So these are references. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Group 7, any comments, any questions for Group 7? Any comments, questions for Group 7? Yeah, that was good. Thank you very much, Group 7, for that and the reflections you have had. And as I asked for to other groups, how did this help in following up with the content of the course? Group 7.
Yeah. to so from my own, my colleagues contributed. Basically, I think this is the first time I'm actually trying to explain using validated processes why I did what I did. Actually, if you check most of my studies, almost all of my published studies, I don't give justification why I use which evidence that I followed to actually, I mean, they are all statistical concepts that we know that if you're going to do this, this is what you use. If you're going to do this, this is what you use. But beginning to use evidence from studies and from that these people had, so it's actually very interesting. So I think I would begin to follow that method, although it's not very popular, here in my own setting, but it was quite interesting to begin to see that you could actually, validate the method using evidence, not just the statistical concept that you have in your head.
Okay, thank you. Any more thoughts from group 7 on that? Well, like I said to other groups, it's very important to when you do things like this. I think the main message we want to pass is that yes, the results is important, but the process is much more important. The process that brought about the results is much more important. So I think it is good to think about the process quite a lot. Good to think about the process quite a lot. How do you design? You have a topic. How do you design it? What am I going to do? And when you're doing that, don't think about how it affects you. Think about the trail you leave. The trail you leave. Can somebody follow your trail and get to where you're going? So be transparent, be detailed, explain it. Sometimes the journal, Cecilia was saying yesterday, they do not have too much space to report everything. But now, many journals have online supplements. You can put that there. There are other platforms. Online Inca mentioned GitHub, where you can distribute those things that may not go into the journal that publish. Distribute them and refer them to tell people, I have done this, I have done it well, I have done it confidently, I have done it transparently. You can verify. If you hide it, then you have not served the science well, you have not served the society well, you have not served yourself well. Okay, so we have to take note of that. So the codes and all those, even your questionnaire, provide them for people to see what you have used. Okay, group 3 says they are not ready, and group 3 is really crying that they want to show off what they have done. They are not ready to show off today, so we'll try to see what we can do to accommodate them. I guess everybody's happy with that. So group 8 will present now. Group 8 will present now. The first thing in the morning after we listen to the nugget from group 7 tomorrow morning, we'll give group 3 10 minutes to show us their own part. I think that will be good to allow them to do that. Okay, so group 3, get ready tomorrow morning. The first thing, we do not have time to allow you today. Let's have group 8 and group 7. We present their nuggets tomorrow morning. And then before we go to the presentation of the Friday project, group 8 will give us their own nuggets. That is after lunch tomorrow. So group 8, the floor is yours.
Could I share? Yes. Okay.
Please go ahead.
This is the title, Awareness, Perception, and Current Practices of Reproducibility in Research Among African Scholars, Group 8 project. Just our background, until recently, the concept of reproducibility in research was aligned at least most researchers and scholars in Africa. This concept, though new, is on the rise as the report of results in different scientific domains couldn't be replicated. Whereas problems in biomedical research have gained most attention, concerns have touched almost every field in the biological and social sciences and beyond. As the movement to examine and enhance the reliability of research expands, it is important to note that some of its basic terms is reproducibility. Our objectives to assess awareness, perception, and current practices of reproducibility in research among African scholars, but also we add another objective, which is to develop a valid and reliable tool for measuring awareness, perception, and the current practices of reproducibility in research. The methods study design, cross-sectional study, population, our target population will study participants in this course, the course participants. Questionnaire development, we have suggested some questions individually, then our group 8 discussion and development of final questions. Then we have a meeting with the whole group, discussion to develop a single version of the questionnaire. Then after discussion with Dr. Bright, we developed the final version. Creating a Google form and which is distributed via emails, data collection and distribution to all groups who participated in the same analysis. We made data cleaning and statistical analysis. Data cleaning were made through testing by 2 members of the group, and data entry checks. We made some recoding of some questions which we see that it needs some checks and clearing. Data entry control have been put in place as serve as checks in order to prevent wrong entries and errors. Then we analyze the data using SPS and Stata, and we obtained the same results, but we checked because we have some questions which needed to be checked. These socio-demographic data, nearly there is no difference in gender. Most participants were female. Most participants ages from 35 to 44 years. Most have education, master's and doctorate degree, and occupation, most of them were researchers. We see that PhD students, lecturers, and contribute most of the study groups, and only we have 3 members who are non-researchers. They were working in the medical fields, health fields. So we recorded them as non-researchers. Academic settings was the most predominant working environment, and most of the participants have experience from 6 to 10 years. The field of work, we have the predominant one were mathematics and medicine and health sectors. Regarding awareness of reproducibility, nearly half of participants have good awareness about reproducibility, and they gain this knowledge from university and seminars and conferences and scientific journals. Also, they chosen equally most of these words, but transparency were the most frequent one to be found. Regarding the idea of research protocol, only 3 individuals have knowledge about research protocol, and they did know where to register a research protocol. 37.9%. Regarding publishing of study data is a good scientific practice. Most participants agree, have a positive perception regarding this and agree this is a good scientific practice. And most of them also agree to open peer review to be included for all published research. And although this, we have 58% who strongly disagree about reviewers ordering or asking for data to be retested. Though we have 50% of the study group have a good awareness about reproducibility, the practice is very limited. Only we have error here in typing. We have 6 people who try to reproduce results, and the causes, most of the causes they tried this were availability of data and checking validity, and also it is not expensive. Those who didn't try to reproduce the data, the most common cause was they either absence of raw data or they didn't know or think of this, and they don't have motivation. Also, there is nearly half of the participants published a research protocol. The causes of the experience was satisfactory or very satisfactory. Those who didn't publish a research protocol, the most common cause were because they didn't know this or because they have no skills to publish data. And also, we have only 17% of the participants who tried to register or publish a research protocol, and the motivation was for transparency and institute policy. The factors behind not trying to register or publish protocol, mostly they didn't know and they don't have the motivation also, and they have they think that methods will be published in the research paper. From these results, we see that awareness, though 50%, but still we need to improve it. There is a very limited practice of reproducibility regarding registering, publishing protocol or publishing data, and mostly due to lack of knowledge or motivation. The limited time, questionnaire was not validated, so we have questions which should be improved. Like there is a question in demographic data asking about the field of work. We see that we have a student, and it should be removed here and replaced by the field of study. Google form limitation, we find some people who answer questions they should not answer, like if question, if you answer yes or no, we find some errors during this, and which take more time during data cleaning. The strengths were collaboration and exchange of knowledge and experiences. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Group 8. Thank you very much for your presentation. Any question for Group 8? Comments?
Dr. Bright, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, like we have done, we use the questionnaire and analyze it directly in either in SPS and Stata. What's the aim of publishing the syntaxes and the coding? We didn't coded any questions. We use it directly like it is.
Normally,
Yeah.
normally that is not the way you do it.
Yes.
So what I noticed from most of the groups is that that the course we are thinking about in October will be very useful: scientific communication, how to write a scientific paper, and there is an aspect of how do you present your data. Presentation. They say that one picture is worth more than 1,000 words. So presentation is very, very important here.
Here we have a limited time, so we
So that is why I
yes.
forgive you, Eman. That is why I forgive you.
Yes.
I forgive you that here because there's so much time. But if I had given you sufficient time, then I wouldn't forgive you on that because it's a big crime. Yeah, go ahead.
The collaboration also between groups is slightly interrupted, so I think if we have time, we could do better. But we get a great experience from each other through very small tricks regarding data coding, cleaning, and analysis. And so this collaboration was very useful. Yeah.
That is very good. That is very good. I think the collaboration is very. Usually, when you have courses like this, you can say that see that we don't have enough time. When I teach the systematic review course, people say this is a course of 2 weeks, but we have to squeeze it within 1 week. So what we give is the motivation, and that is the motivation here. At least you can see the direction of where we are looking forward. This should go, what people should think about. As African scholars, what you should think about. We think about these things very seriously. Transparency should be the bedrock. We shouldn't play less. Sometimes it may not be that you have done the wrong thing, but you have not taken the time to report it clearly so that people can see what you have done. So it's very, very important to consider those aspects. So our time, we have 4 minutes past. I think we are going to end here. One thing is that only one group has sent to me the topic for tomorrow presentation. I don't know how or other groups have thought about it. I know that this has taken your time, but still tomorrow project we want to do it. Want to have the presentation. The plan for tomorrow is that we'll come together and then we'll have the nuggets and then we'll listen to group 3 make their presentation of today, and then I will send you to go and use the morning hours until the lunch to finalize your presentations for tomorrow. And when we come back from the lunch, we are going to listen as we have listened today. So please, if you have not sent me your topic, do that. We'll end here. If you want me to send you to your groups now, I will do that so that you can prepare for tomorrow's presentation. So thank you everyone for today. What do you want? Are you all tired?
Yeah, that's it. Now we should go back to our group so that we can finalize for tomorrow.
Great. So I open the room. Does everyone agree on that?
Yes, Doc, may you pardon? I was breaking off. I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I was asking, do I send you back to your groups? Okay,
I think
great.
yes, please.
Yeah.
Defina, you are in group 7 or 8?
4.
4.
I'm group 4.
Sorry. Job is 4. Edward is 3.
2. I'm in group 2.
Benga, you are what group?
Two. Group 2.
Group
I'm in group 8. Benga is in group 8.
Group.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
goodness me! I will send. Don't worry. I will send you back to group 8. And Marion is in group 7.
Yes.
Okay, great. Tekla is 7 as well. Yeah, so please go to your group, and soon I will leave here so that I will not be monitoring this until I come back. But just let me know if there is anything.